According to Bhagavata, Sri Krishna is considered the full incarnation among Dashavatara. Therefore, there is a saying, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. When we come across the story of Krishna, from the beginning of coming to the eternal world, his Leelas we witnessed before his birth, after birth. So many miracles happened in his life. So many Leelas he showed to the devotees. That's why it is not easy to understand Krishna's Leelas. Krishna's each and every activity had its own philosophy. His particular devotees are there. They know very well about Krishna's each and every activity. There are immortal devotees to Lord Krishna. For example, Prahalada, Dhruva, Akrura, like these people. Ambarisha. Ambarisha, while he performed Ekadasi Vrata, during that time, the great sage Durvasa came. But Durvasa wanted to test him, came late after going for taking bath in river, holy river. Lapsing of time for Vrata's conclusion with the consent of his priest, he just drank Tulsi water. For this, Durvasa got angry and started to punish him. God may not leave who punishes his devotees. Immediately he discharged disc Sudarshana. Durvasa ran away. Brahmaloka, Shivaloka, Kailasa, at last even Vishnaloka. They said, this is discharged for the sake of Ambarisha, go to take shelter in him. Like that, Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, both are same. Never leave his devotees who are dependent on him. Even Dhruva, at the early stage, even in his childish days, boyhood days, simply he chanted. He could not do anything, any homa, any mantra patana, any reading pustakas. He only recited 12-lettered mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's all. Same Dvadasakshi mantra. Chanted. God, Lord appeared before him and gave him an exalted place. Therefore, he became Dhruva star, Dhruva nakshatra on the sky. After enjoying his kingship, the final stage he reached. Like that, Prahalada. These people are from birth, they are devotees to Lord Krishna. How we know, everyone knows about Prahalada. Though his father opposed to worship Lord Hari, but this young boy with pure devotion made Swami to appear in the incarnation of Narasimha to give moksha to his father, not to kill his father. In this way, we can see so many devotees. That's why we have to understand the philosophy of Lord Krishna very well. Krishna's Leelas are not easily to be understood. Okay, anyhow, today I took the topic of immortal devotees of Lord Krishna. Let us start with prayer. Vasudevasutam devam kamsachanuramardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum. Lord Krishna's incarnation. There are four qualifications needed by anyone to understand the underlying significance of the Bhagavatam, which describes devotion as a bridge between the divine and the devotees. What are they? 1. Free from evil company. 2. Seek the company of pious. 3. Indulge always in meritorious deeds. 4. Discriminate between the eternal and transient. Shura, a king of Yadava dynasty, has two sons, Ugra and Devaka. It's Ugrasena and Devaka. The former had a son, Kamsa, and the latter had only one daughter, Devaki. Kamsa had great affection for Devaki and considered her as his own sister and celebrated her marriage to Vasudeva with great enthusiasm. When he was driving the chariot of the newly wedded couple to take them to bridegroom's place, an third voice declared that eighth child of Devaki would kill him. Kamsa, on hearing this voice, immediately unsheathed his sword and decided to kill Devaki on the spot to prevent the predicted catastrophe. Then at once Vasudeva gave Kamsa his assurance that he would hand over all Devaki's newborn babies to Kamsa and appealed to him to spare Devaki. Kamsa relented and allowed them to go. The pious Vasudeva kept his word and handed over each child as it was born to Kamsa. On learning from Narada that the threat to his life might come from any of Devaki's children, Kamsa killed 6 of them. The Magadha emperor Jarasandha gave his daughter in marriage to Kamsa, who honored increasing hatred against the Yadavas, from whom he apprehended the threat to his life, and also because, according to Narada's words to Kamsa, the gods were to incarnate as Yadavas with the advent of Krishna. God made his mother plan, God had made his master plan. Why? To punish the wicked and help the pious and pure devotees. Vasudeva's other wife, Rohini, was staying at Nanda's house, away from Kamsa's tyranny. The Lord, by his Maya Shakti, transferred Devaki's 7th child to Rohini's womb. He was Balarama, who was always with Krishna after he grew up. He was also called Sankarshana, transferred from one womb to another. The Lord incarnated as Krishna, the 8th child of Devaki, and both Devaki and Vasudeva had a vision of Lord who directed Vasudeva to take the newborn child to Republic, Gokulam, a village on the other bank of Yamuna, Rapalle. According to the divine plan, all the warders were fast asleep, and the doors and gates of prison in which Kamsa had confined Vasudeva and Devaki opened of their own accord, and the river in flood gave way while Adisesha protected the child from the torrential rains as he was being carried in a basket by Vasudeva. No power can stand against the divine will. The child was exchanged with the born to Yashoda without anyone knowing about it due to Yoga Maya. The child brought by Vasudeva to his cell started to cry, and immediately the warders woke up and informed Kamsa, who rushed to the prison. He seized the baby and lifted it up to kill it. But the baby escaped from the clutches of Kamsa, went up in the air, and announced that the slayer of Kamsa had taken birth and was alive somewhere else. Enraged by this, Kamsa started killing all newborn babies. He sent his demons to Repalle also, but Krishna, even as a tiny babe, destroyed all of them. Yashoda had Vatsalya for Krishna at the physical level, while the Gopikas of Gokulam had real devotion, which is symbolically demonstrated by Krishna, who used to go after their butter rather than receive that offered by his mother Yashoda. Butter here signifies the spiritual heart of the devotee, which Krishna shared as divine. Krishna demonstrated to the innocent devotees of Repalle his divine power in several ways. Now let us come to the Ambarisha's devotion, because these people are immortal devotees now. Ambarisha's father was Nabaga, who was rewarded by Lord Shiva for his attitude of detachment to worldly things. Ambarisha was pious and devout and adhered firmly to the truth. He performed a yajna with such a great devotional fervor of Lord Narayana, was pleased and blessed him with Sudarshana, which means God vision, Sudarshana, good vision, and which manifested as a wheel of prosperity, peace, and security to his kingdom. On sage Vasishta's advice, Ambarisha performed another yajna called Dwadashi Vrata. An important rite to be observed in this vrata was that the king must start a fast on the day prior to Dwadashi and break it at the start of Dwadashi and feed all the people. I think I previously said Ekadashi Vrata, not Dwadashi Vrata. As the moment of breaking fast was drawing near, the mighty sage Durvasa arrived and was received with all honors and respects by Ambarisha. Durvasa agreed to the king's request to be his honored guest and asked the king to wait till he finished his bath in the river and returned. As the auspicious moment approached when the king had to break his fast to fulfill the vow of the yajna, Durvasa did not turn up. On the advice of the sage Vasishta, the king broke his fast by taking a tulasi leaf with water and waited for the arrival of sage Durvasa to offer him food. But Durvasa, who was well known for his short temper, felt that Ambarisha had violated the respect due to guest by breaking his fast before the guest had taken his meal, and in his rage created a demon called Kritya to kill Ambarisha. Lord Narayana's Sudarshana disc and Sudarshana chakra intervened to destroy the demon and started chasing Durvasa himself. Durvasa went to Brahmaloka and Shivaloka for protection. Both pleaded their inability to save him. He went to Lord Narayana himself, who said that he could do nothing as he was bound by the blemishless devotion of Ambarisha, and suggested to the sage to seek the pardon of the king. Durvasa at last went to Ambarisha, who prayed to Lord Vishnu to recall Sudarshana Chakra and saved Durvacha. The lesson of this episode is that God Himself as a servant to His true devotee. Students need to learn the lesson that it is not enough if they do good work, but should all do so with humility, Vinaya, and devotion. Ambarisha was the embodiment of humility. Now let us. The saga of Dhruva. Dhruva was a young lad, a young boy of 5 years old, who did penance with single-minded devotion and determination and was blessed with the vision of Lord Narayana. Uttanapada, the elder of the two sons of Manu, who gave to mankind the Dharma Shastra, the code of righteousness, had two wives, Suruchi and Suniti. Uttama was a son of Suruchi and younger queen, while Dhruva was born to Suniti. Once both of the boys were playing in the garden. Spotting their doting father sitting on the throne, they rushed forward to sit on the lap of their father. While Uttama sat on his father's lap, the 5-year-old boy Dhruva was prevented by Suruchi, who said that only her sons had the right to sit on king's lap. Dhruva went to his mother Suniti and sat weeping. When he started criticizing his stepmother for her action, his mother silenced him and said, "Desist from criticizing anyone. If you criticize others, the defects pointed out by you will come to you. Accept everything as something good." See, what a good mother. What a good character of mother, is it? On seeing the character of Suniti, every mother has to educate their children in this way. So saying, she advised Dhruva to go to the forest and do penance to secure the grace of Lord Narayana, who was only hope for the helpless. Dhruva obeyed his mother implicitly and proceeded to the forest without any fear and with full faith in his mother's words that God was the only refuge for the forlorn. Having noticed this wonderful determination of the young boy, who was ready to brave the perils of the forest with a firm determination, the sage Narada appeared before him and tried to dissuade him from undertaking severe penance to earn the Lord's grace. But Dhruva refused to go back and expressed his confidence that he would surely succeed in winning the Lord's grace with his mother's blessings and his unshakable faith. This is ideal that today's students should learn. Narada was pleased with the young Dhruva's firm faith and initiated him in the chanting of the 12-lettered mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dhruva did intense penance, means severe penance, giving up food and drink, and was reduced to a skeleton. He transcended his Annamaya Kosha. He was saturated with the Lord's name, which he chanted with each breath ceaselessly. His Manomaya Kosha was also dedicated to the Lord, driving away all other thoughts. His entire being was filled with bliss in the contemplation of the Lord. This is another ideal taught by Dhruva to students, that meditation must be with a total concentration on the divine form. Lord Narayana appeared before Dhruva, whose radiance went on intensifying as the Lord was approaching him. Looking at the majestic form of the cosmic Lord, Dhruva burst into ecstatic praise. He exclaimed, "O Lord, till now you were in me, and you have come out of grace me. Are you going to leave me?" Lord Vishnu, who was astonished at the amazing wisdom of young child, patted him on his cheek, and asked him to stay what boon he wanted. Dhruva said, O Lord, after having your darshan and getting your grace, I don't want anything else. The Lord replied, Dhruva, you undertook this penance with one thought, namely to sit on your father's lap, but now you speak differently. Your words and action are contrary to your thought. You must go back to your father with my blessings. He will receive you with full affection. You must rule the kingdom and then come to me. The Lord also assured Dhruva that after ruling the kingdom for a long time, he would occupy a most exalted position in the firmament as a star around whom the constellation of the seven rishis and other galaxies would revolve there. Dhruva, on his return to the kingdom, was received with ceremonial honors by his penitent and joyous father. Dhruva consoled his father by reminding him that all are forms of Narayana. Uttanapada entrusted the kingdom to the 6-year-old Dhruva, saying that a boy who could get the divine vision and grace at the tender age could rule the kingdom. He retired at a Skandashrama seeking realization of the divine. Dhruva ruled for a long time, very wisely and well, maintaining justice and peace. When his stay in the world came to an end, a celestial chariot came to take him to God's abode, did not arise. So saying, he sat down closing his eyes in meditation and merged into divine. The infinite power of bhakti must be understood by all. It contains all the 6 qualities, namely, number 1, bhukti, mean food, rakti, charm, yukti, mean intelligence, mean knowledge of how to love all, anurakti, great attraction, and virakti, cessation of desires, and mukti, liberation, salvation. These 6. When from all the word Bhagavan, the root word bhag relating to the divine is taken, the combined with kti, which is common in all the 6 qualities, it becomes bhakti. Story of Dhruva teaches the value of determination and devotion to God. Here, students to think dedication, devotion to their studies, acquiring knowledge. Now, let us come for Prahalada and his faith on God. He is also one of the immortal devotee. This is the story of Prahalada, who remained utterly unshaken in his faith in Lord Narayana despite the ordeals to which he was subjected by his father Hiranyakashipu, who hated Narayana as the slayer of his brother. Hiranyaksha, the younger brother of Hiranyakashipu, was killed by Vishnu in his incarnation of Varaha. In order to acquire invincible power, Hiranyakashipu left for Mount Mandara to perform a vigorous penance. While he was away doing penance, his wife Leelavati was taken by sage Narada to his ashrama to protect her and the child she was crying from invasion of the Devas. He imparted to her the knowledge of the exploits of Narayana. Though she did not pay much attention to the teachings of Narada, the child in the womb absorbed them and started meditating on the Nama mantra, Maha mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya, Ashtakshari mantra. While still in the womb, Brahma was pleased with the penance of Hiranyakashipu and granted him the boon that he would not meet with his death, either during day or night, either on earth or sky, either from man or beast, or from the gods. With this boon, he became Lord of the universe and decreased that he alone should be worshipped. He ordered, decreed. When Prahalada was 5 years old, he was entrusted to the care of two teachers, Chanda and Amarka, both sons of the sage Kripacharya, with strict instructions to impart all demonic traits to the child and banish Vishnu's name from his mind. The teachers taught him about Artha and Kama but abstained from teaching about other two goals of human life, Dharma and Moksha. But in spite of their best efforts, the teachers could not create a single negative thought in Prahalada's mind. He persisted in his own belief that Lord Narayana was the supreme master of the world to be worshipped by 9 modes of devotion, Navavidha Bhakti, beginning with listening to the glories of Lord and culminating in all total surrender of the self. Hiranyakashipu tried all means of gentle persuasion to to persuade Prahalada to accept him as a supreme master and forget Narayana. Prahalada told his father that though he had mastered the entire external world, he could not master his senses. Enraged at this son's unshakable devotion to his arch enemy, Hiranyakashipu decided to put an end to Prahalada by all possible means. Prahalada was totally devoid of body consciousness and was always in a state of bliss chanting the name of Hari. He survived all tortures inflicted on him and came out unscathed. In utter exasperation, Hiranyakashipu finally asked Prahalada, "Who is this God that protects you? Where is he?" Prahalada, who had realized the omnipresence of God, told his father that God was everywhere in the cosmos, from the tiniest microcosm to the mighty macrocosm. He added, "One who is a slave to his senses cannot see him. As long as you have ego and attachment, you cannot see Hari, though he is within and outside every being." Hiranyakashipu then asked Prahalada, "Is he in this pillar?" When Prahalada said, "Yes, he is Hiranyakashipu smote, means hit the pillar with his mace, means Gada. The pillar split into two and 3 emerged from it. The Lord in the dreadful form of Narasimha. He seized the demon by the throat, placed him on his lap, and tore his tails with his nails. Though everyone trembled at the sight of the awe-inspiring form of Narasimha, Prahalada stood beside the Lord cheerfully in adoration. When he was asked by the Lord if he had no fear, Prahalada replied, "To me you are only the embodiment of love. I believe in your divine form of love and not this physical form." Lord Narasimha then commanded Prahalada to take over the reins of the kingdom, transform the demons into virtuous beings, and then come back to his divine abode. Prahalada requested the Lord to pardon his father and take him to heaven. The Lord granted the boon. Prahalada ruled over the world for a long time with justice and righteousness. In this way, we should acquire such a quality of devotion like Prahalada to attain moksha. Finally, Akrura, a devotee of Lord Krishna. Akrura, a minister of Kamsa, was also a blood relative of Lord Krishna. He was a great devotee of Krishna. Kamsa had invited Krishna and Balaram for the worship of bow ceremony and had sent Akrura to escort him. Akrura was an ardent devotee of Krishna. His heart was so focused on Krishna that throughout the journey to Vrindavan, he thought only of Krishna. When he reached Vrindavan, he saw Krishna's footsteps on the sand. He was so overcome with devotion, he rolled himself on the great one's footmarks. Such was his love for the greatness of Krishna. Indeed, he was spiritually ascended one to recognize the highest state of Lord Krishna. He was very joyous to accompany both Krishna and Balarama on their way to Mathura. On the way, Akrura stopped the chariot and cautioned them to be careful as he went to Yamuna river for worshipping. When he dipped his head in the water, he saw forms of Krishna and Balarama inside the water. Thus we can see the greatness of immortal devotees of Lord Krishna. Om Shri Kantai Kalyan Nidedram Shri Venkatnivasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam Mangalasasana Madacharya Purogamaihi Sarvesha Purvairacharya Satkritaya Stu Mangalam.